It feels good. I think we've like caught up to every other team. Like Haven is new in the pool. They're like new duelist changes. I think we've caught up. We're able to make new strategies and new compositions, and in that just being able to just like catch up to the other teams kind of has put us in a good spot.
Hey guys, it's Pedro back with another interview covering VCT Americas Stage 2. For this occasion, I'm here accompanied once again by IC of G2 Esports, who are coming off of a victory over NRG Esports in Super Week of Set Split. And so, IC, once again, really do appreciate you giving me another chance for an interview this season. And of course, as I usually do, just want to ask about how you're feeling, coming off of a series like that. A very clean victory for G2 and especially for yourself.
I mean, it feels great. All our hard work paid off. Ever since we came back from Shanghai, we've been just straight grinding and just like coming to this game. I'm obviously feeling confident going in and to show what we've been like doing in practice. Show we've been working hard and making like new strats, new things. It kind of was a good feeling. It was a good win today.
Definitely was, a clean showing, as I said before, 7-13, 7-13, 8 in Haven and Bind respectively. Just sort of, I like to know what exactly were the biggest points that you were looking at within that NRG team when it comes to preparation, and how did that kind of plan execute in the server in such a very, I would say, clean way.
Um, I would say we weren't expecting the Haven comp or even like Haven to be their first pick. So I think I'm pretty sure they banned it against Sentinels. So that kind of caught us off guard. And once we saw the comp, we kind of just talked it through and made sure like we're all gonna be on the same page, just like know like what they can do, what the limits of their comp are. And yeah, I would say like we kind of just went into the games like not knowing much info on them, and we saw their comps and just had talks about it. And we were fully prepared to go into the games.
Yeah, I was just literally about to ask that as a follow up. That composition on Haven and seeing Victor on the clove. Especially looking at someone as your direct adversary in your role. How did you guys kind of then look at that and then go from okay, let's see how they show us, and then we'll try to counter that. How was that process like during the map?
It was interesting like seeing their comp. We weren't really sure like what they even could do, but we kind of like talked about like what the limits of their comp actually are, like what they can't do, like I already said, and what they actually can do. And we kind of just after that knew like what our game plan should be, and just like played from there. I mean, we didn't really overcomplicate things. We just kind of knew the limits of their composition, and like picking a comp like that, there's obviously like gimmicks that can go for, and like yeah, as long as we were aware of like the like alt plays they can go for and stuff like that, then we knew we were okay.
What kind of limits did they show to you guys from that composition, if you can share? If you could kind of go a little bit deeper into that.
I would say like a lot of their fights have to be like, a lot of their fights have to be like really, like, we'll know it's pretty like obvious what they're doing, kind of if they're fighting or not, because they have to like invest like the net and like other utility, like Fade will have to be there and stuff, and also like no Sentinel. I feel like having no Sentinel kind of allowed us to work the map better and have a better understanding of what they're doing, because I know like Leaf was getting really good value on his lurks, so I think that helped us a lot. And always felt like we had the read on our attack side, so it was really good.
Yeah, and then after winning a map like Haven, you guys then continued that momentum over into Bind. And yeah, like just now kind of covering the entire map or entire series overall, what do you think set the biggest difference between you guys and NRG? Just going a little bit back into that, but just sort of in general.
I would say that the difference was, I would have to say like our strategy, and like I think Valen did a really good job today IGLing, and we were taking things like slow when we needed to, and also like picking up the pace when we needed to. We kind of had a good read on their overall like game plan, and from there I think Valen and Josh were able to make good plans, and all of our players were able to like contribute in their own ways, and I think that helped us get this one today.
Going a little now back into what you said at the start of this interview, just sort of having had a good preparation, having had an emphasis on just continuing the team's good form from like Masters to now. How good does it feel, for this team to just actually show the results and not suffer, not show the same kind of results that affected other teams, in the league negatively speaking, such as Sentinels and also in a little bit 100 Thieves as of now.
I mean, it feels good. I think we've like caught up to every other team. You know, like Haven is new in the pool. There's like new duelist changes. I think we've caught up, and we're also like, we're able to make new strategies and new compositions, and in that, just being able to just like catch up to the other teams kind of has put us in a good spot. And I think like these wins have shown how much work we put into like practice and stuff because we've been practicing really hard. Like we know we were like delayed coming back. Like we were in Shanghai for a little longer, and teams had like a head start. So it was just about like working on ourselves and like improving our play, like and just improving on our mistakes from Shanghai and just bring it into the next stage.
I want to ask about how the changes to the game, i.e., Return of Haven, changes to the duelist in Neon and in ISO. How has that kind of affected the game from your point of view, given that you are, the duelist for this team? You've not played as much Neon compared to like the other duelists in this league. So I'm kind of want to know how have you kind of been working around that aspect.
I mean, this meta is like really interesting. I think this is one of the first metas where it's like every team is playing a different comp. There's not one comp that's gonna like beat every other comp. Like for example, like the Lotus one we play. I feel like a lot of teams are playing the Lotus comp with Fade, and now people are making like more comps and new ideas, and there's new like combinations of utility. So, um, yeah, I mean, I feel like that. Let me think. I feel like some of the duelists are like overvalued compared to like duelists that haven't changed. I think like people are like overvaluing ISO like compared to other duelists. Like I think there's always like limits to like what you can do. And I think that we're assessing all the limits and like what duelists could be best and just picking our comp from there. I think that like we've realized like we tried a lot of things honestly when we came back from Shanghai. So we kind of just went through like looking at each duelist, seeing what works, what doesn't, and what feels most comfortable, and we're kind of just like going with that.
And yet you largely stayed within, Jet, Rays, those kinds of agents so far at this time. I mean, what did you kind of see in those two agents that allows you to continue favoring them instead of just like, going for Neon on top of the things that you've kind of been saying so far?
I feel like Raze, the utility with Neon, you only have one stun. Like removing that stun kind of made a huge difference. It's kind of like if you're playing Neon, you're more so playing for yourself and the team. Like obviously you can fast rotate, but with the one stun, I think there's not a lot of like conditioning you can do on the map. I think with Raze, it brings a lot more value just because like you still have the same utility. Like all they changed was the satchels, like the satchel movement, I think. So I think like the change wasn't that much to where like I would favor another duelist over the others. But like I've tried like Neon and ISO and like I think obviously there's like positives in those agents, but we kind of just like basing our comps off of like what feels best for the team. Like I think I'm comfortable with most duelists, but it's more so just like how we want to play the game is how we're doing it.
And so I can assume that we're gonna see mostly you continuing to play those two agents, right? More so than like those ISO Neon, right?
I mean, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, all right. That's Miles telling me different stories, but we'll just leave it there. We'll just leave it at that. Now focusing on just how the next set of games are going to play out for this team. You're one of the few teams or probably the only team that only plays to one match in this Super Week, and after that, you're done for now. Next opponents are going to be against the Crew and Sentinels. They're sort of, given that many people are looking at Sentinels as the team that is back on top on like many of their power rankings, and amidst their current form, how is the team kind of looking at that side as the opponents later on down the line in the season?
I mean, like teams like Sentinels, like obviously they're really good. Yeah, they won Madrid. I think they kind of had a slow start coming back after Madrid, but I think like we'll take one game at a time and just I think we'll be fine going into the next two games. I know also Crew, they made a roster change, I think, which was like just announced, where MTA is playing. So I'll be looking forward to that. I think they're going to be a different team than they were before compared to last time we played them in playoffs of Stage 1. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to the next two games. And yeah.
Sure, we're definitely going to be excited for that as well. Myself and everyone else included. I see. Thank you so much for taking the time during this interview once again, answering all my questions again, and just being present for this again. Thank you so much, and of course, best of luck goes for you moving forward.
Thank you so much.